one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing.
Please bow your heads. Dear Lord, we thank you for bringing us here tonight. We ask that you give this council the wisdom and the guidance to make the right decisions for the great city of Newman. In this we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Bob. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Davis.
Present.
Graham.
Here.
Candia.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Martina.
Here.
Mayor Caden.
Here. Thank you. Item 5, declaration conflicts of interest. Seeing none, we'll go to item 6, ceremonial matters. Seeing none, we'll go to item 8, consent calendar. A is waive all readings of ordinances and resolutions except by title. B is approval of the warrants. C is approval of the minutes of the February 24, 2015 meeting. Council direction.
I move we can approve the consent calendar as read.
Second motion.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Go to item 9, public hearing. A is adopt resolution number 2015 next in number declaring the existence of a public nuisance under ordinance number 281 mistletoe abatement. Assume?
Yeah, good evening, City Mayor and City Council members. Mistletoe is an evergreen parasitic plant that grows on a number of landscape tree species in California. The most effective method for control is through the complete removal of the branches. Abatement notices for the removal of mistletoe were sent out to 27 property owners per the municipal code, chapter 9.06, notice of abate in February. As of today, there are 15 properties that have not removed mistletoes yet. Therefore, staff recommends City Council adopt a resolution declaring the existence of public nuisance under ordinance number 281, mistletoe abatement. I can answer to any question you may have.
Questions or comments for Kasum? Seeing none, I'll open the public hearing. Anybody wish to address the council? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and bring it back to council for direction.
I move that we adopt resolution number 2015 declaring the existence of a public nuisance under ordinance number 281 mistletoe abatement.
I second that motion.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. I'll go back to item 7, items from the public, non-agenda items. I think I skipped right over it. Wasn't intentional. Anybody wish to address the council? Seeing none. Thank you. Now, thank you, Kasum. Item 10, regular business. A, adopt resolution number 2015, next to number, awarding a bid for the Parks and Landscape Maintenance Services Agreement to Joe's Landscaping and Concrete Incorporated, and authorize the city manager to execute said agreement and associated documents.
Thank you, City Mayor. In October 2010, the City of Newman and Joe's Landscaping and Concrete Inc. Entered into a 3 contract for the landscaping areas in City of Newman. And there was 1-year extension of the contract was made in October 2013. Since the contract expired on October 30 last year, the public works staff has maintained the parks and the landscape areas on a temporary basis. For continuous maintenance of the city's parks and the landscape areas within LLD, project bids were advertised and received bids were opened and read on February 26, 2015. A total of 4 qualifying bids were submitted, ranging from $93,080 per year to $239,980 per year. The city staff has reviewed the bids and found them to be in proper order. The apparent lowest responsible bidder has been determined to be Joe's Landscaping and Concrete Inc. with a bid amount of $93,080 per year. This project will be covered by the LLD fund. Therefore, it is recommended that City Council adopt a resolution awarding the Parks and Landscaping Maintenance Services Agreement to Joe's Landscaping and Concrete Inc. for the annual amount of $93,080 and authorize the city manager to execute said agreement and associated document. So $93,080 means $1,790 per week. When we made the contract in 2010, that was $2,340 per week, which means $121,680. So through this new contract, the city will save about 23.5%, which is $28,680 per year. So even though we added some more maintenance areas, I think this number is really good. This contract is really good so far. I can answer to any question you may have.
So there's a huge difference from the lowest bid to the top bid,
Yes.
even from the second lowest. Still a huge difference. It's amazing that, hopefully it's just because it's a local company, you know, we get a fairly good deal, but I mean, it's such a big price
Yeah.
difference.
So in order to avoid any argument during the service contract, so the city set up the mandatory the walkthrough for every single contractor. So our staff went to the site, every single location, parks, street to street, everywhere, and identify the scope of work so that we can reduce any argument or some issue in the future.
You said the prior contract was $28,000 more, roughly?
Yes, almost $29,000 more
Why
per year.
why a dramatic drop in that?
Because it is why we set up some strategy on this contract, because sometimes there's some argument, because some scope of work was not clear in the past. It is why when some complaint came up, it's a kind of argument between the contract and the city. At this time, it is why we set up the mandatory walkthrough. And we identify the location, every single location, and this is scope of work. So no more argument, no more complaint between the city and the contractor. I think there is the clarification through the mandatory walkthrough that reduces the cost.
Great.
I like the idea that we're getting it cheaper. However, cheaper is not always better. So who's going to be the one to keep an eye on them? Because I haven't been impressed with what they did last 2 years. So
Yeah, our staff, there's a two route to address your concern. The first one is the public works staff always checking the site. Also, secondly, whenever we receive any concern or complaint, we take a look, and if any meeting is needed with the contractor, we set a meeting and then we address our concern. We try to resolve the issue per the types of request. So any concern occur,
so you'll keep an eye on them.
yes, and also it is why we set up the mandatory walkthrough, so that we can avoid any
And
the issue.
just to confirm, I believe I
Yes.
read in here that if they do fail to meet those, that you can cancel within a 30-day notice. Is that
Yes,
correct?
yes, still.
If
that-
they
that
aren't
is in
living up
place,
to it?
Yes.
Okay.
I just like the voice what Candia said. I've noticed around town, it doesn't look that good, and it's almost like I was thinking the other day, I said, do we have a service at this time? So it just seems like someone's stopped.
Yeah, let me explain this one. Since the contract was expired October 30, 2014, the public works staff voluntarily took over the responsibility on the O&M until we made a new contract. Because normally the winter time, the maintenance efforts are way lower than the summertime. So we estimated our capacity on those O&M. So at this point, we have saved over $40,000. I understand that maybe the quality of work is a little lower because our staff ratio is limited. But however, that's why we made the decision at the time to save additional $40,000 over 16 weeks.
Well, so you say they haven't actually been doing any work for a while? They haven't been actually doing landscaping work?
Yeah, our staff has been maintaining for the past 6 months.
Yes.
Have they- Okay, that's
So,
why it looks like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we terminated Joe's contract in October because it had expired. We said, we're going to take over the service. That allowed Perfecto and Kasun to fine-tune the contract, get the quantities a little bit tighter, require the mandatory walkthrough, so there is no conflict in terms of what's in and what's out. That's why we've been able to come up with a better deal. And that's why I think you've seen a little bit more growth in the landscaped areas in terms of weeds and some of the other things,
Right.
just because our staff hasn't committed the time that this contract will to be committed to.
I understand that. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Any other questions or comments? All right, council direction?
I so move that we award the bid for the Parks and Landscape Maintenance Service Agreement to Joe's Landscaping and Concrete, Inc., and authorize the city manager to execute said contract and associated documents.
I'll second the motion.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Item B is adopt resolution number 2015, extra number awarding a contract for the City of Newman Fire Department Light Replacement Project to access electric and authorizing the city manager to execute the agreement. Consent?
Mr. Mayor, per the City of Newman Fire Department staff request, the public works staff initiated some inspections on the existing light in the fire station. And also, we have discussed with West St. Louis County Fire Protection District staff to develop the scope of work and cost-sharing options. After the assessment, the both city staff and West St. Louis Fire staff agreed that the existing light in the areas, light in the main room, outside light out of the building, outside the building, as well as light in the apparatus room, need some major improvement. In order to address the improvement, the project RFQ requests for quote were sent out, and we received the bids ranging from $19,955 to $29,460. The city staff has reviewed the bids and found that the lowest bid is disqualified because the contractor didn't provide the cost breakdown and work details per instructions. As such, the next lowest bidder for this project has been determined to be Access Electric, with a bid amount not to exceed $23,268.73. This project will be covered by the Newman Fire and Government Building Contract Fund, and the West St. Louis County Fire District will share the cost up to $11,000. Therefore, it is recommended that City Council adopt a resolution awarding said contract to Access Electric and authorize the city manager to execute the agreement. I can answer to any question you may have.
Where's Access Electric? Where are they from?
It is in local contractor. They normally do these types of improvement. There is another the contractor like a Platt. So normally they provide all the materials for the LED replacement project. It's a local firm.
They're from Ceres.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Are they replacing all the fixtures too? Like,
Yes.
I see a lot of it says light bulbs, but on the outside of the building, are they replacing those
Yes.
fixtures, just
Yes.
not the bulbs?
That's right.
Okay.
Because LED, without the replacement fixture, we cannot simply replace the
Well,
bulb with LED.
on the fluorescent lights like these, you have to replace the
Yeah.
fixtures. But your standard bulbs, you can replace some of your standard bulbs with just the light bulbs, LED light bulbs. So I was wondering, I just wanted to make sure that this is, the price of this is replacing all the fixtures.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
the labor portion of it is $13,500.
Yes.
Which seems, it's over 50% of the cost is labor, which is pretty high.
Yeah.
And if they were just replacing a bunch of light bulbs minus the fluorescent ones that are currently in the main
Yes.
bays,
That's right. So when we,
that takes labor, obviously,
Yeah.
and I understand that, but.
when we had a meeting with West St. Louis fire staff, so we discussed several options, just replacing just a couple of light, or we can conduct some major improvement. So we had several discussion and cost option were put on the table, and eventually we decided to make a major improvement rather than just replacing several light bulb, because the LED has a lot of good benefit in terms of lower O&M. Also, they are providing pretty good warranty
Right.
for that.
And Councilmember Graham, that is identified on page 12 of the contract. It's Exhibit A, scope of work, and it says replace 7 floodlights outside with LED lights, so.
Yeah.
Right, but some of those, like I just replaced some LED lights in my house and I replaced the bulbs, the fixture can stay the same. So, that's why I was seeing if that was the actual cost. If they're
Well, yeah.
replacing the actual fixtures, some of that labor cost makes sense then.
Yeah.
If they're replacing the bulb, that takes 5 minutes.
It will require them to replace the fixture as well.
Any other questions or comments? Council direction?
I move that we adopt resolution number 2015 awarding a contract for the City of Newman Fire Department light replacement project to access electric and authorizing the city manager to execute the agreement.
I second that motion.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, yes, sir. We'll go to item C, report on Comforting Kids event at Pioneer Park. Dick Short.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. Tonight before you is a request from Comforting Kids, a local nonprofit, to use Pioneer Park and the 1200 block of Fresno Street for a benefit car show on Sunday, June 28th, 2015, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. I believe this is their third year of using the park for this benefit event, but this year they've asked for an additional, the 1200 block of Fresno Street, so they can set that up for a vendor area. As in past years, they will have a DJ playing music there, and this will be a no alcohol served or sold event. Comforting Kids has made the following requests: the exclusive use of the park, the use of the restroom facilities and electrical power at the location, and the 1200 block of Fresno Street. Staff has made the following request from Comforting Kids, and that would be to secure event liability insurance in the amount of $3 million, naming the city as an additional insured, secure additional waste wheelers and position them throughout the park, and to cover the cost of one public works employee to assist with vehicle parking. This has occurred in the past as well, and staff does recommend that one on-call public works person assist with vehicle placement around the irrigation and electrical connections. Projected overtime cost should not exceed $200, and that should be invoiced to Comforting Kids. And I will be happy to answer questions.
Questions or comments from Lieutenant Short? Hearing none, council direction?
I'll make a motion, we approve the event for Comforting Kids as indicated.
I second that motion.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Thanks, Lieutenant Short. D, consider declaring the position of city treasurer vacant and authorize staff to advertise for Newman citizens interested in filling the position of treasurer. Michael?
Actually, it'll be me tonight, Mayor. Good evening, council members and Mayor
I
Katie.
said Michael.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're going to have to look at this again. We recently received a letter of resignation from our current city treasurer, Michael Thompson. He's accepted a position outside the city limits and will be moving out of town here shortly. In accordance with state law, we need to fill that position within 60 days, or we'll be required to call a special election. Basically, it'll be called for us if you guys do not take action and appoint someone. So what we'd like to do tonight is request that you allow us to go ahead and advertise for that, and then, probably in April, I would guess, we'd bring this back to you for appointment. Obviously, the only cost that considerations would be just the cost of advertising. The salary for the city treasurer is obviously in the budget already.
A high-paying job.
Happy for any questions you may have.
I'm sure somebody else has any. Yeah. Any questions or comments? Direction, council? Well, Michael,
It's just a consensus of the council, isn't it?
yeah, I was going to say, how many people did we have for that position when Michael was?
If I recall, there were two. I know Ferris had applied, and I believe Michael. I don't remember if there was a third.
Okay. Okay. All right. Consensus then is have staff go ahead and advertise the position?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Have at it. Okay, E, consider funding request for the Fall Festival Miss Newman Float. Tony?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council members. I'm back before you with a report.
Sorry.
It's all right. With a report of where we stand right now with raising funds for the float. I sent some information to Michael. We got one more donation in today for $200, so the total has changed just a little bit. But cash and commitments, we are at $5,900. With in-kind donations, we'll be at $8,900 as of end of day today. So I'd like to come before you and ask if we can have our donation, so that we can start working on the float and hopefully try and get it on the road by May.
You are to be commended.
Thank you.
This is wonderful that you had so many people step forward for cash
And it's been a
donation.
very wide variety of businesses,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, I'm very excited.
Well, I think we, in a statement, we would go up to 5,000, wasn't it?
Yep. Well, with that being said, they've met the threshold of at least the 5,000 that we requested them to meet. So council consensus is for staff, go ahead and prepare pennies, however you want to pay them. No.
We'll do that, and we'll, there was a little bit of discussion about the actual trailer itself, and maybe transferring title to the Fall Festival Committee as part of that, so we can have our legal counsel work up.
I thought we had already done that. That was specifically addressed that,
Yeah, so, but our legal counsel will draft up
Okay.
a final agreement for you to bless.
Okay.
And send that off, then that'll be before you at your next,
okay, great. Okay, well done.
Yeah, outstanding job raising funds, that's great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Did we get to ride on it?
You want to write it? I'll let you write it at Fall Festival if you'd like.
All right. Well done, thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck, girls.
Yeah, that's neat. You look
Okay.
great on that float.
All right. We'll go to item 11, and we'll just get right over that.
Mayor, DeMartini, Supervisor DeMartini wanted me to pass on that he had a LAFCO commitment tonight and couldn't be here.
What's more important, LAFCO or City of Newman?
Quite obvious.
'Cause I'm sure he's not arguing in our favor at LAFCO.
He's actually in Riverbank.
I'm sure he's not arguing in favor of our cities at LAFCO. Enough said about that. Because he's fighting with Riverbank tonight.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'll continue the fight tomorrow night. Okay, item 12, items from the city manager.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Just two quick items. We've made significant progress on the solid waste MOU. Ms. Nubia Goldstein, our city attorney, has played an important role in helping to get that final document ready on a countywide basis. We expect in the next 30 days to bring that to you for a new countywide solid waste MOU. And then my second item is, I'm proud to say that Tony T. of the Double T Ranch has completed the restoration of the Yancey building. And he's going to have an open house for the public to come view not only the restoration itself, but to look at his entire property. He's going to have that tour on April 12th from 1 to 4 p.m. It's a Sunday. So if you need directions there, please contact Mr. Mike Meyer and he can show you how to get there. If you've never been there, I think it's a very interesting place. That they hold a lot of fundraisers and stuff there, and restored trains and old buildings. It's quite a thing that to go and visit. Take your spouse, take your family. It's a very nice place to go and visit. With that, that's all that I had.
Questions, comments for city manager? Thanks, Michael. Staff, we'll take it short.
Nothing tonight.
Stephanie, anything?
Just wanted to let the council be aware that the notice for bidders for the CDBG waterline project has been released. We'll be opening up bids on the 23rd, and assuming everything is in order, we'll be bringing that to you the next day for award on the 24th. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions or comments for Stephanie? All right. Lou?
The only thing is treasurer reports will be delayed until we find a replacement.
Okay. Soon, anything else?
Yeah, just one update on Sherman Ditch. Last week, the city staff trimmed the trees along the Sherman Ditch, and next week, we are going to clean the ditch itself using the vacuum trailer we purchased last year. That's all I had. Happy to answer to any question you may have.
Whatever happened to, I know you sent notices out to the neighbors that backed up to it. Did they want the trees removed, or did some done?
Yes, so we received several responses. So far, one resident still want to keep the tree, but however, we set up the meeting on the site because the tree actually must be removed because the tree, all the branches hitting the bottom of the the ditch is
Right.
actually is blocking all the water, is creating a lot of problems. So we explained that unfortunately, we must remove the tree because that's one of the worst tree in the Sherman Ditch area.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, we finished the survey on the trees, which tree should be removed. So far, we have over 200 trees to be removed. So our staff tried to remove some small or medium tree right before the Hills Ferry, because there's no the property behind the wall. So our staff trying to find out what is our capacity in terms of the removable tree along the Sherman Ditch.
There's that many trees in that ditch?
Yeah, 203 trees should be removed.
If you think of the full length from the railroad tracks all the way out there.
Yeah, that's a long. That's an ongoing effort.
Great. All right, thanks, Casey. Casey, anything?
I have nothing tonight.
Roberta?
No.
Nick?
Not for me.
Bob?
Oh, just to mention, we had another meeting last night in regards to this recreation opportunities that we're trying to find for the city of Newman. And I'd like to say that Michael and Lou did an excellent job in making the presentation. And basically, I guess, Lou, you talked about sources of revenue, and how we could go about getting revenue and possible ways that in the future we can make this possible, make it happen in the community. The only thing that I felt, and of course, is we have a real hard sell as far as we have 3 different groups coming together. And it's important that we all get them on the same page. There's people that believe in soccer, and there's people that believe in the pool, and there's people that believe in the baseball. Now, our whole reason for being there last night, as far as I'm concerned, was the pool. This is what the whole thrust was. I think Michael explained that to everyone, that, we've been without a pool for a good number of years now. And we have other opportunities for like baseball, and for soccer and things like that. They may not be the greatest fields, but we have them. We do not have a swimming pool. And I know that some people indicated, well, there's a lot of private pools. Well, that doesn't help the kids that don't have a pool and can't go swimming. And I just think there's a lot of opportunities for young people in this city for the pool, as far as learning to swim and activities and stuff like that. In high school, the swimming meets and stuff like that. So I don't know how it's going to all shake out, but I think we're trying to get them in that direction. But the thing was, everybody's got to be on board with the fact the pool has to come first, and then what follows is the other items, would be the baseball diamond and the soccer fields and stuff like that. So it's like, it's not going to be easy sell, but I think if everyone gets on the same page, if we go out there and talk to the general public and explain to them just exactly, we have some numbers that we've thrown around as far as what would cost a person. Their property tax was increased, and how long it would be for 30 years. After 30 years, then it would be reviewed. So there's a lot of things that we're pulling together, so it's exciting, and I think that, we have an opportunity to get it on the ballot in November, and maybe get ourselves a pool, and then with other recreational opportunities in the future. So that's kind of my idea. I don't know
No.
if Nick wanted to add to it or anything, or
No.
Michael, you could probably expand a little bit as far as.
No, I think Councilmember, or Mayor Pro Tem, you did an excellent job. Really, we're just trying to get the committee and the persons that are showing up to understand it's the big vision, what we want to be as a community, and have these opportunities for residents of all ages. And it's good, and each of these programs that we're proposing can impact people's lives, again, from all ages, from the very young to, to our most senior citizens. There are programs for them that we are planning as part of this program, and trying to keep the vision out there, and not fight over which project is more important and which one needs to go next. They're all important and equally important, but obviously the aquatic center is something that's near and dear to the council's heart. I know a lot of you who had to walk this year heard that from the residents, and that's really the impetus for pushing this forward. And then we'll just figure out after that, so. But it's coming along shortly. We believe we'll have something from the committee to you in May, so that you can take a first look at it, and then have a little bit of time to modify it if you think it needs to be modified, and then either late May or early June, put it on the ballot in November.
Great, great.
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Bob. I just want to mention, a week ago, actually, it was on the 28th, I had an opportunity, I was asked by Dr. Samia Philpott, Randy Philpott's wife, our superintendent of our school. She put on the National History Day in Patterson at Creekside School, and she asked me to be one of the judges. We had students from Worcester High School there, some from our elementary schools participated. It was quite the event, and Samia did a great job. I thought I was going to just, go down there and walk around and look at stuff, but she actually made us work and judge, and some of the projects that we judged were just amazing, at some of the topics that the kids chose, different people that inspired them for one reason or another. They wrote essays on, they did poster boards and displays, and were very, very knowledgeable about their topics, and it was interesting. But what I found was really interesting, there's not too many of the Tuskegee Airmen that are left, and there's one that's in our midst, Captain Les Williams. He lives in Patterson. He's 95 years old. His daughter Penny lives here in town. I didn't know that, so I got to visit with her quite some time, as well as the captain. Quite an interesting man, and some of the things that he's accomplished in his life. At 50 years old, he decided he wanted to go get his law degree. So he went to law school. He's been invited to the White House several times. He was at President Obama's inauguration. He was recognized by President Bush for some of his different accomplishments. So it was quite interesting talking to him. Sharp as a tack. And so they had photos of him. He has a book I bought and had him autographed for me, and so it's quite interesting talking with him. And the fact that there's not that many of them still alive, and he's right in our midst. And his daughter, again, lives here in town, so it was interesting. So I got to meet him, and I hit staff up at the last minute to do a proclamation resolution, actually, and presented him. Mayor Molina and myself both presented resolutions to Captain Williams at the event where he was the guest of honor. So it was quite a privilege to meet him and present him with a resolution on behalf of the City of Newman and the City Council. So again, that was a great opportunity for me, and I really, really enjoyed it. So I just wanted to share that with you. So it's Captain Les Williams. Anyway, if there's nothing else, motion to adjourn.
Motion made.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?